Hi there, wonderful people. Welcome back to Stories Down Under. Stella and Fran here, and today we're going to talk about friendship, and this is adult friendship. We all know how as we grow older, our priorities shift, our way of things change, and this really affects our friendship, the level of friendship, and we find out that particularly those of us who are migrants or who are living in a foreign land, you find that you have less and less friends because we really don't have much time. We have very few family members here. We don't interact much with people, but it's very, very important to have friends because life out there can be very lonely. There are a few steps that have worked for us. We've managed to have good friends. We've managed to build our networks, and we thought that we bring this out so that maybe if you're struggling to find friends out there, you can try them and see if it works. So for us, we came up with 6 simple ways of building friendships and even making friends. And the first one is to encourage and compliment each other. When you meet people for the first time, try and encourage people, compliment people. For example, I meet Stella for the first time. The first thing that I need to do is to say, "Your hair looks nice, Stella. I love your dress." That really eases the situation, opens up the floor, and it gives the other person that encouragement that you're really interested in knowing them. It motivates them, it inspires them, and gives you that good rapport. And then when they open up, you get to talk, you get to know each other, and who knows, you could share similar interests, you could have a good rapport and build very strong friendship at the end of it all.
100%. Very well said, Fran. The second one that we want to talk about is one that we borrowed from Dale Carnegie's book, How to Make Friends and Influence People, and it's to encourage others to talk about themselves. I know a lot of us are usually sort of held back thinking, oh, I need to talk about myself so that they get to know me. However, people do not want to really listen. As much as you might have been told that you need to be able to talk about yourself, it's actually different. You need to actually be able to listen. So ask people what their hobbies are, ask them what they like, ask them how life is, ask them where they are from, and just listen. And I know sometimes it can be very uncomfortable, the silence, and
when you
sometimes
meet people for the first
when
time,
you meet people, just a little silence, you feel the urge to jump in and say something. And I think one thing that I'm learning at the moment is to be comfortable with the silence. It's okay to have those little breaks when you meet someone for the first time, and let it sit in the silence, and give them an opportunity to completely speak about themselves, and listen so that you're able to ask questions, because people are so smart. They know when you're listening and when you're not,
Absolutely.
Because sometimes we listen waiting to talk about ourselves, like planning, oh, what am I gonna say? Oh, okay, she's done this, so I need to say this about myself. But no, honey, just listen, ask questions, and it gives you sort of an upper hand, according to me, because I'm able to judge whether I actually want this person on my corner or not, because you get to know them and you get to see, do you have shared interests, do you have shared hobbies, and that will help you make friends. Because once you listen to someone, they feel seen, they're able to open up to you, and they're able to get comfortable and vulnerable, and that will allow room to actually grow that relationship.
Good one, Stella. Listening is quite a virtue, and a lot of people are learning that, but it really does help, especially when you're meeting people for the first time. It can help you understand people more, listen to them, be in their shoes, and who knows what could come after that. The other way of meeting adult friendships or making adult friendships is by joining activity or community groups. In every suburb, especially here in Australia, you would find that there's a gym somewhere around for those who are health fanatics. There could be activities like singing classes, cooking classes, every sort of activity, or community groups. For example, here we have Kenyan community, African community, accountant community, Toastmasters, every single group that you can like, because that's a good way of getting to know people, getting to know who share similar interests, and then, also just reaching out to people, and it's also a good way for people to get to know you and welcome you to the community. And you might be lucky enough to find that those are exactly the kind of people that you needed, and you could even get help, especially for those who are looking for jobs, who are trying to network or looking for different services. You could find out that that is exactly the kind of group that you need, and by hanging around these people often, you could just end up having a second family away from home, you know.
Absolutely.
For example, I met Stella through a church community, and we've been friends ever since then. I feel like she's more of my family. She's more of a sister than anything. So who knows, go out there, meet people, and you can meet another Stella, you know.
Oh, forever and ever, darling. Okay, the other point that I actually learned way later in life is to remind yourself that changing friends or, falling out of friendship does not make you a bad friend. Neither does it mean you're a bad person. And I know this is why a lot of people find adult friendships so difficult, because I think everybody has lost a friend,
Yeah.
and it can be really difficult because of all those years of laughter and shared memories and shared opportunities that you had, and now they have to come to an end. And sometimes you outgrow people, sometimes they outgrow you, and as adults we're not very good at actually being candid with each other and telling each other that I'm sorry, but this phase of our life has come to an end. It was a pleasure, and I wish you all the best. But a lot of us will get those subtle communication. So very subtle in the sense that a friend no longer has time for you, she no longer calls you, and this can be very difficult. And I want to give you the green light that it is okay to mourn a friendship, because this can be very difficult, and it's easy for you to start thinking you're a bad friend, but in reality everybody goes through that, especially as an adult. As your interests change, as your beliefs change, as you grow, some people are not able to level up, and some people are not able to meet you at that point, because when you were your old self, it made them comfortable, and sometimes when you level up and you improve, or sometimes it's just genuinely loss of interest and your ideas or goals do not align anymore. So as you mourn your old friends, please open yourself to new friends, and that can help you actually with healing. Just get to know people. They might not be your BFFs, but just get out there. Go out for a coffee, ask a new friend to join you for maybe a free yoga session, and this will help you, also be bold again to actually approach new people and make friends. And sometimes this can actually end up being your lifelong friends, and sometimes it's okay to know that we're on a journey, and some people are just there for this part of the journey, and then others are supposed to stop in the middle, and others are supposed to go with you the whole way. So bear that in mind.
So true, Stella. They say that saying goodbye is the most difficult thing, but the moment you accept that it is what it is, move on and start a new life,
Absolutely.
It will work out for you well. The next way of meeting friends in your adult times or adult age is by liking people first and liking people genuinely. Do not be fake. In the era where there's a lot of fake things going on, especially in social media, people tend to try to think that by faking it, you can make friends, or by faking it, people will like you. Just be authentic, be genuine. When you meet people, like them and like them genuinely. Have a positive mind. And you can do that by first starting with a smile when you meet people. Just don't judge people when you meet someone and you're thinking, oh, I don't like her hair. Oh, I don't like her dress. That's not it. Just first open your mind, say that, yeah, I'm meeting this person for the first time. I don't know much about them, but I'm interested in knowing them. In that way, they will really surprise you, because whatever you see on the outside is not always what is inside. So look at people with an open mind, positively, in a way that you're thinking of developing a rapport, understanding them more, and hopefully making friendships with them. And a lot of people have ended up with very good friends from meeting absolute strangers, just by having an open mind, being, friendly towards people, understanding people, and just having that growth mindset, it does help and goes a long way in life.
100%. And as you were speaking of that, I was just remembering that as migrants, sometimes we can be very close-minded in terms of, oh, I only want to speak to Africans, or I only want to speak to people of my ethnicity, but you are missing out on a whole lot of great people. People are not defined by their skin color or how they dress, but open yourself up. For example, if you live in Australia, the majority of population is, of course, people of diverse backgrounds. Majority of people are white. So if you close yourself to such a huge population, you're really losing out on very good opportunities. So
of course,
please be open to meet people of all nationalities, especially if you live in Australia. And then lastly, as you were speaking about that, I wanted to talk about being vulnerable as well. So in regards to people just want to put a facade and be fake, but being vulnerable can actually make your relationship move, a new friendship move 2 years or 3 years ahead, because there's something about being vulnerable that, because a lot of people just want to show their highlights, especially through social media. We're only posting our highlights.
Of course.
Again, when people talk, if you want to talk about their success, how well they're doing, it's sort of like a bragging. But one thing I actually try, and we're all prone to it, and I want you to just listen to yourself as you're talking. And if you find yourself as if you're bragging, just hold back, and even sometimes share with your friends your challenges, the things that are hard to speak about. Open up, find someone, of course, you trust, someone who's trustworthy, and open to them. And the times that I've been open with my friends and shared maybe a difficult situation or a challenge that I'm going through, and they've come through for me, they've been there, that has made our friendship grow immensely, and that's actually sometimes a way of gauging your friendship, because if I'm only going to share with you the highlights, then are you really my friend? Because that becomes an acquaintance. It's just like at work. How are you? I'm good. I'm doing great. How was your weekend? Was great. We never go into detail as to what is really going in our lives, and that's another way to define your friends. So I encourage everyone to be vulnerable, to share their challenges, to get out of their, to create room for growth. And to also, even sometimes with new friendship, one of the ways of being vulnerable is being the first one to ask them out. And as adults, it can be so daunting to actually, for example, if you met someone at the gym, you always met them there, and to ask them, hey, would you like to go for a coffee? Or would you like to join me for a walk later in the evening? That bit can be so daunting. Of course, because as adults, we fear rejection. We all do, right? We all fear that they say, oh, sorry, I don't have time. And you're wondering, oh, God, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to ask them. They don't want to meet me. But put yourself out there, be vulnerable, and you'll find yourself, because friendships are hard work. I'm not going to lie. The friendship that I thrive, and not hard work in the sense that they're bad, but you have to put on effort, right? Yeah. So I think saying hard work would be the bad word, but you have to create effort. You have to check up on your friends. You have to make time for them. You have to make time to meet them, as much as we live in such a busy life. So, Fran, would you like to add anything in that regard?
Not really, Stella. We have talked about everything, but all I want to say is that when you go to a new territory or a foreign place, please have an open mind. Just look at people. Take your time to learn about people. Don't just close the box or build boundaries around you. Open your mind, get to know people, try and be the one to go out there and start the first conversation. Of course, it's the most difficult thing to do, but as Stella has mentioned, be vulnerable, try to reach out to people, and just be a happy person. It's not easy to smile, especially for us, because how we've been brought up, we don't smile often, because when you smile, you're considered not serious. I don't know if I'm right, Stella. If you smile often, people don't take you serious. But what I've learned with the Aussie culture, people smile a lot, and that smiling is just a way of opening up the boundaries, opening up the walls.
Yeah.
So try and do that, and you'll see that will open ways for you to even interact with people, to make friends, and even create networks that we all need in life. And in
100%.
saying that, we just want to thank you for the support that you've been giving us. Keep watching, keep giving us ideas, keep commenting and sharing what else you'd like us to talk about, because we appreciate your support.
And be a friend. Be a friend by connecting with us on Facebook.
Of course.
Subscribing to our channel, liking and commenting, because that goes a long way to help us. Thank
Absolutely.
you guys.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
people.